What?
Hello.
Well, we've officially made it to episode 10.
Let's go.
This is the longest running series I've ever had on my channel. It has the most videos compared to all the other series I've made. The only other series that has come this far is Story Time, and I only got like 8 episodes before I got bored and decided to discontinue it. So this really is working, you know. We are able to make content for this every single day, not every single weekday. So yeah,
we thank you.
yeah, thank you for 10 episodes.
You know the reason this is going, technically, keeps going.
The only reason why this is going is because, well, why not?
Yeah. And then we have.
I think there's something I need to do today after school. I just can't remember.
You need to try to get to 100 subscribers.
Well, with the way things are going, I say we're going to get to 100 subscribers by the end of November. I feel like that's a good estimate.
I have wrestling starting October 1st.
Ooh. Well, this will keep on going. You'll just be a bit absent.
No.
Oh, you'll still run the bus?
Yeah. In the mornings, yeah.
But not in the afternoon.
So sadly, I won't be here during the evening buscast.
Yeah,
the actual buscast.
Yeah, you will not be here during the buscast.
I'll be here.
Yes. Hey, you want to listen to a quality podcast recorded right here on this school bus?
Yes, please.
Okay, go to YouTube. Farming subscribers, bro.
That's what the name of this channel is going to be.
Alright, now look up Buscast with a K, no spaces. Yep, right there, that's good. And scroll down. Right there. Or down again. Yeah, Doodle was a bad kid. That's our most recent episode. So yes.
Doodle was a bad kid.
If you could like and subscribe, that'd be amazing. Awesome. We got a subscriber. Let's go.
Bro, that's like, we're almost to 100. Like, can you believe it?
Yes. If you go down to playlists, I made a playlist of the different podcasts. So there's the Buscast, which we recorded this year. The Legacy Buscast, which we made back in 8th grade. The mic quality on that is awful. And then the Boring Morning Recordings, which we're making an episode of right now.
That's what it was called.
And then everything else is just random stuff I posted. So yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, and it's quality podcast. You're gonna love it.
It's like beautiful.
Listen to it later.
It's great.
I lost my AirPods on this bus yesterday. Oh, what?
Oh, dang.
I fucking lost my AirPods on
Hey, guess what?
What?
Ah, god dang. I put them in my pocket, and then before I got home.
Like it's just stringling down. Am I a good singer or what?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Hey, let's talk about World War II.
World War II? Okay, World War II in a nutshell. The year is 1933. There's this dude with a silly mustache who's trying to take power in Germany. His name is Adolf Hitler. And he's a spy for the socialists, right? And then while he's spying on these bad guys called the Nazis, he says, hey, I like these Nazi people. I'm going to become a Nazi. So that's what he does. And after that, he rises to power, becomes the Chancellor or Führer or whatever the frick it's called of Russia or of Germany. And then after that, where was I? Oh yeah. After that,
He starts invading.
so in 1939, he invades Poland, okay? And every other country's like, oh, you shouldn't invade Poland, that's pretty gross.
Then we'll start war. Yes.
So he started a war. And so they declared war, and then they didn't really do anything until the year 1940. That's when in 1940, Hitler said, I'm going to invade France. So that's exactly what he does.
But then he doesn't know that they were ready.
No. He completely plows through France and just, they get their cheeks handed to them. It's not 1945 yet.
Oh, okay. I was so confused.
It's only 1940. the Germans did have France for a little while.
Poor Switzerland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Switzerland was just like a little island in the middle of Nazi territory. It was so weird. Anyways, so after that, we had Neville Chamberlain, the Prime Minister of the UK. Nobody likes him. They're like, ew, Chamberlain's gay. So they got a new dude. And his name is Winston Churchill. And he's like, oh, okay. So France is getting steam plowed through, and they're coming up on our shores. These people are gonna get trapped unless we get them out. So he gets them out, and then let's see. Oh, and
Japan
by the
joins
way,
his alliance.
I'm just saying, when Germany took over Poland, they split it with the Soviet Union because they were allies at the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, meanwhile, on the complete other side of the world, there's this little country called Japan, and well, they're Japanese, I guess, and they don't like the U.S. for some reason. I don't remember why, but yeah. And then in 1941, Japan's like, okay, well, why don't we sneak up on this little Hawaiian island and then just blow it to pieces?
Hawaii.
That way, the United States is all scared of us, and they won't want to attack us. Because, you know, they thought that the United States was all weak, and they didn't have any willpower, and that they were too obsessed with materialistic items, you know? And while the last one is true, we do have a lot of power and unity and stuff like that. So anyways, they attack Pearl Harbor, and the United States is like, wow, you're gay. So they invade Japan, and they just start blowing up all these naval bases and creeping up on the Japanese, just completely destroying them, demolishing them. Now, there's this battle called the Battle of Midway, okay? And the Battle of Midway goes like this. There's a boat in the middle of the sea. There's another boat in the middle of the sea, but it's so far away that they can't see each other. So they're like, okay, well, I think there's a boat out there, so why don't we send a whole bunch of planes over there? And then the planes just stumble across this massive Japanese aircraft carrier. So they blow it to pieces, and then the boat creeps up on them, and then they go bang, 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 and then the Japanese get absolutely destroyed in the Battle of Midway, okay? Pretty important battle. I don't know why, but it was.
Battle of
It's only 1943.
Oh, bro, I hate that.
Anyways, so let's rewind a little bit back to 1942. Hitler is obsessed with taking over Russia, and he doesn't know what to do. But anyways, so he just starts invading all these other European countries around him, and he says, you know what, I don't like Great Britain, so I'm gonna just bomb the crap out of them. And so the Blitz began. The Blitz was literally what it sounds like. A massive blitz of German Luftwaffe, it's the word for plane, and they just sort of fly in there and just go, and literally cities are decimated, okay? So anyways, all these cities are decimated, and Adolf Hitler's doing the take-down dance, you know? And then he's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Now the year is 1944, okay?
You skipped 1943.
No, I didn't. That was the Battle of Midway. So anyways, in 1944, Adolf Hitler was like, okay, well, I have an idea. What if I invaded the Soviet Union? That'd be pretty neat. So that's exactly what he did. So Germany was right here. Russia is right here, okay? And there's this plot of land owned by Russia down here with a whole lot of resources. Now, naturally, you'd think that the Germans would go down here, take over all those resources, and then proceed to go through, right? No, they just go straight on through because Stalingrad is right here. And because it has Joseph Stalin's name, Adolf Hitler decided to take it over. Because, like I said, Adolf Hitler is a terrible military planner. He was crazy, he was a pothead, and because he had absolute power, nobody could say that he was wrong. So anyways, they steamroll through, and they just... I'm using the word steamroll a lot. Let me explain what I mean by steamroll. The German tactic for war was called blitzkrieg. It works like this. Basically, you get a whole bunch of bombs. You bomb the place. Then you get a whole bunch of tanks. You run on through with tanks. And then after that, artillery. Boom, boom, boom. And then you send in the troops and the paratroopers. And then they come in and they gun down the place with what's left of it. Okay? You can take over chunks of land with this strategy in like 3 days. So anyways, And it also was pretty helpful that all the soldiers were on crack cocaine. I mean, crystal meth. Anyways, so they went on through to Russia, okay? And they go ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. And, you know, we all know the story. Oh, it was winter, and they got all cold and they froze to death, and the Germans were unprepared. That's always semi-true. Well, sure, the Germans were having to eat their own horses, and their fuel tanks were literally freezing, like frozen block of gasoline. They also, as you can see, just steamrolled through and then put all their troops right here, leaving just a little pathway. So what the Russians did was they just sort of, now they're stuck there, okay? They cut them off, and now all these German troops are stuck in Stalingrad. And so, with the full might of the Russian army, when I say full might, I mean full might. You know how most armies are typically just men? The Soviet Union's army around this time was 50% women and 50% men. That means that, like, basically everybody was in the war. And Russia's the biggest country on earth.
Oh.
So anyways, they go home and they cut them off from the rest of Germany. So they're stuck in Stalingrad, and then they just go boom, boom, boom. They get pushed out of Stalingrad, they all die in it. Meanwhile, on the other side, in France, there's this little beach called Normandy, okay? Now, the United States was busy attacking Japan when Winston Churchill phoned up Franklin D. Roosevelt and was like, yo, we're fixing to do some crazy stuff. You want to help us? And then he was like, yeah, sure, why not? So he hired this dude named Dwight D. Eisenhower to plan this massive attack where they just send a whole bunch of boats into a little area, and they just go, and then they take a piece of German land, right? And that's exactly what they did. They rolled up on D-Day, and they went, they made a movie about it called Saving Private Ryan, and then they pushed the Germans out of there. So now, you got the Western Allies to the Germans left, and the Russians closing in on the east, okay? So, just sort of, after months and months and months, Nazi Germany just sort of shrinks. Until Hitler's stuck in Berlin. He flees to Argentina. And then faces death. And then dies. And then that's the end of Nazi Germany. But it's not the end of World War II. Remember how we were fighting the Japan earlier? Yeah, so we still have war in Japan, and Japan refuses to surrender because of Japanese tradition or whatever. And so President Harry S. Truman is like, well, we have this new weapon. It's called a nuclear bomb.
His name is
The A-bomb. Little man, fat boy, whatever.
Fat Boy.
And so they nuked Japan. And Japan's like, I'm still not surrendering. Screw you. So they nuked Japan again. Japan's like, fine. So they surrender. End of World War II, yay! Did I miss anything?
Yeah, World War II was a tragic event. So if, like, you are
Oh yeah, I forgot to throw this out there. 60 million people total died in World War II, and it's the bloodiest war in the history of mankind.
And it is not taken very lightly, so yeah, we're not trying to make it a joke or anything.
You know what is a joke? Call of Duty World War II. Bro. All these generic World War II video games are so stupid.
Some of them. There's like one that's good.
There's someone want to throw this out there, okay? I want you to think about this. How many movies and video games and books are there about World War II?
A lot.
Why don't you just like name a few that you know you've played?
Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World at War II. Then we have the books would be.
Okay, whatever. You say there was about 100 in each. There's about 100 video games, 100 books, 100 movies. That sounds about right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many movies, video games, and books are there about World War One?
Like 0.
There's one video game about World War One. Battlefield 1. That's it.
I bet there's like one more, but like it's like all the way in like another like foreign state or something.
Oh no, it is. It's called like freaking, I don't even know, but it was pretty bad. Nobody ever played it. The first real World War One first-person shooter was Battlefield 1, in my opinion. And then movies about World War One, you got 1917, and the list ends about there. And then books about World War One, you got The Great War, and that's about it.
In World War
Oh, and one more thing, the Call of Duty Zombies map Origins, that was in World War One, but it was like a weird steampunk version of World War One with massive giant robots, so I'm probably not even going to count it. So yeah, there's only about one book, one movie, and one video game about World War One. How does that make you feel?
Sad.
19 million people died in World War One.
Wait, isn't that more than World War II?
No, it's less.
Oh.
60 million died in World War II.
Oh, shit.
Including the Holocaust, which I forgot to throw out there. Nazi Germany was killing innocent people because they're Nazis, and Hitler was a crazy pothead.
Again, do not take any of this seriously. We love y'all.
And with all that being said, subscriber, you're gay.
No, you're not.